The Nation of Yahweh presents The Unfolding Light. Today's show is brought to you by Builders of the Highway Foundation, Yahweh Life Center, Neo Jazz School of Music, Yahweh Education Centers, and the Temple of Brothers and Sisters of Goodwill. And now for your host, Dr. Lud Yisrael.
Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, praise Yahweh, and welcome to the Nation of Yahweh's weekly teleconference, The Unfolding Light. I am your host, Dr. Lou, along with my co-host, Sister Tamar. Boker Tov.
Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Well, praise Yahweh. Wow, what a week. There's so many things going on in the world. Ain't it nice to know that Yahweh got your back? Yahweh got your front, your top, your bottom, your side to side. Praise Yahweh. It's just a joy to be in Yahweh and be within his hedge of protection. Today on Unfolding Light, we'll have Who is Yahweh? Directly after that, we'll have a keynote message from the master teacher, the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. And directly after that, we'll have the part where we all take part in unfolding the light, and we call it Power Talk. And now I invite you all to stand and face the east with outstretched hands as we open up this episode of the Unfolding Light with a prayer to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, and deliver us from this heathen, so that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praises. Blessed be the holy name of Yahweh and Yisrael forever. O Yahweh, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Let our enemies be dismayed, but let not us be dismayed. Bring upon our enemies the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. O Yahweh, forgive our fathers for breaking your laws, and please forgive us for breaking your laws. Help us to never bring shame upon thy great name, nor reproach against thy works. For surely we have turned ourselves to thee, O Yahweh, trying to be upright. And as we confess our faults, please grant us protection against all of our faults. Cleanse us of our secret faults and guide us to the best of morals. For surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths are all for thee, O Yahweh. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuterka, Yazeh Rizonka. King Bashamayim came by Aris, and Lechem Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayam, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimo Shasol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotium Lanu, Veal Tebienu, Lade Nisayam, King Kalsenu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefier, Leolamei, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. Then let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And now, who is Yahweh? By the most honorable, Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
is Yahweh? Yahweh is a name that you should know because it's the duty of the Son of God to proclaim his Father's name. And here you have a whole bunch of people going to church, 400,000 churches, and they don't know the name of the Father. They say such silly things like, Father, God, help me. Both of them titles. Father is a title, God is a title. Who's going to answer to that? The purpose of the coming of the Son is to reveal the name of the Father. That's who he prayed to, our Father, and he called his name. He said, hallowed be, holy be thy name. How can it be holy to you and you don't know it? Interesting, isn't it? There are a lot more interesting questions than that about that situation. But when you begin to read your Bible, as I call this to your attention, you will discover from the Old Testament of Genesis all the way through Revelations, it's all about the name of the Father. It's all about his name. But somebody got you calling some other kind of name, other than the Father's name. And you don't know his name. And unless you learn his name, then you're never going to move from poverty to riches. And if you don't come into the knowledge of the name. Haven't you ever wondered why it is that you have the same God, have the same churches and the same names that white people have? I mean, have you noticed? You do. Our people have the same, right? Isn't it strange how God always answers white people's prayers? And black folks' prayers don't seem to be the same magnitude. You know, you say, well, I get my prayers answered. Well, why don't you ever get answered to be the ruler? I mean, you know, my people are always on their knees in front of white people asking white people to let them be accepted. Why do you need to ask white people for acceptance? Why don't you just ask God? Doesn't your God have enough power to make you accepted? Why can't you be the people that everybody else wants to be among? Why are you always running after somebody else to be among them? What's wrong with your God? Why do you have to go around always on your knees with your hat in your hand begging for a job from white people? Why don't your God just give you some jobs? Oh, I have to ask you some serious questions because white people move from poverty to riches every day. Huh? They come from Russia. They come from Europe. They come from England. They come from all over the world with nothing on the ship. Come and get in your neighborhood. Come with a buggy and a basket and a wagon and push it around in your neighborhood and move from poverty to riches out of your pockets. You live in the neighborhood and stay poor and just pray all the time. You prayed enough to rule all the world. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is the God of the Bible. He's the God of the Hebrews. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth. Yahweh is the man that beat up on Pharaoh. Y'all remember how he put plagues in Egypt? That was Yahweh did that. Yahweh is the one that when Pharaoh got real sassy, he drowned him in the Red Sea. That's Yahweh who did it. Yahweh is the man that when Daniel refused to bow down to another nation and quit facing the east and praying, when he refused to stop praying to his God, which was Yahweh, they said, well, we're going to put you in the lion's den and starve them. Threw him in the lion's den. Yahweh locked the jaws of the lion. Lions could do him no harm. Rulers got scared. Came and got Daniel out and made him a ruler. Right? I just want you to know who Yahweh is. He made the sun, the moon, the stars, all what you see and haven't seen. Okay. So who is Yahweh ben Yahweh? I am his son. I am his son. That's who I am. I am the son of Yahweh. I don't care who else is the son or who else is. It makes me no difference. I'm not here tonight concerning myself with who is the son of who. I'm the son of Yahweh. I have to tell you who I am. Yahweh is my father. I am his son. What makes me his son? What makes me Yahweh's son is I do not have a will outside of his. I have no thoughts, no ideas, and no program outside of Yahweh. You'll find that all that I ever do, all that I've ever done, and all that I'm ever going to do is found right in the Bible and it's traced right to his will. No exception. I take no credit for all that I have built. It's all in his name. Yuhe-Wafe. That's one of the things that make me his son. Also, I have no difference in his word. I only speak his words. Even the words I've spoken to you thus far, the principles of those words are all in the Bible. Every single one of them is found in the Bible. No exceptions. So I walk as he says walk. I talk as he says talk. I act as he says act. I do whatever he says do. I have no idea of doing it any other way. Those are the things that makes me his son. I obey his laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That's why I'm successful. He said in his holy word that if I obey his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, that he would make everything, all the works of my hand would prosper. So all the works of my hands, it's prospering. I'm telling you why. Now, what about you? You might say, well, if you're the son of Yahweh, can I be? Of course you can. Of course you can be the sons of Yahweh. Every one of you can be. Every one of you can be the daughters of Yahweh. All you have to do is like I do. Obey his will, just like I do. You automatically become. You believe on his name, then you have eternal life. There's no other name under heaven that you can be saved in other than God who created it. You can't be saved in no name but the name of the one who created everything. And he gave his son a name higher than all the angels in heaven. What's the name higher than all the names that the angels could possibly have? The Father's name. There can be no name higher than the Creator's. So the son has to come in his father's name. Just like if your name is Davis, then your father was named Davis. If your name is Smith, your father's name was Smith. My name is Yahweh, so my father's name is Yahweh. That's logical.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh for giving us information that is vital to our existence. Praise Yahweh. And now, a brief bio on the master teacher, the founder of the nation of Yahweh, the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh came to Miami, Florida alone in 1979 to become the spiritual leader and founder of the nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty that same year, within 7 years, he guided the nation and those who followed his teachings and principles to amass an economic empire in the greater Miami area and throughout the United States worth over $250 million. Under his direction, the nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, believers, and supporters in thousands of cities across the United States of America and indeed throughout the four corners of the earth. The University of Yahweh, for which he has established the curriculum and for which he has received great acclaim in educational excellence, currently has locations across the United States. The moral teachings of Yahweh ben Yahweh is bringing about a change in the lives of individuals and causing them to take a different approach to life. This approach is based on the scripture which reads, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Yahweh ben Yahweh continues to give. That which he is given cannot be measured in monetary wealth. Yahweh ben Yahweh is giving the world the keys to success in life politically, educationally, economically, socially, and spiritually. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, the architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate, the founder of the nation of Yahweh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh.
I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, who is it? I don't mind telling you, Yahweh been Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm, it's a severe storm headed your way. And it's called the fall of Satan. And this is the time of Jacob's trouble. And Noah stood as a choice between the two. And as it was then, so it is with me right now. I come with a message concerning the evil, and I come with a message concerning the good. And I am judgment because I offer a choice between the two. You cannot separate me from Noah because I'm doing the exact thing. And I'm warning you that the fire of Yahweh is coming to destroy this world. And I'm going to throw all of you right into the midst of the fire furnace. And they may mock you saying, when fire comes, we're all going to be destroyed together. Yes, but see, it's going to kill the gods who threw us in. I don't know how they got the door shut. Evidently they didn't. But the difference is all the fire that's outside the furnace is going to consume them. But there's one light unto the Son of Man that's going to take the heat of the flame away from you. Same fire that's used to destroy the evil ones will be used to save the righteous. And I am an all-consuming fire myself. And that means this same tongue that is being used to destroy the wicked is being used to save the righteous. We're reminded here in verse 37, these days would be the same. That means that if you don't know what kind of day this is, look back at Noah. Men thought evil continually. I challenge you, look around America and the world and then tell me what kind of thoughts prevail. Evil? Wicked? Bad? How often? Continually. How long can you find something evil to do in America? 24 hours. You can find syphilis and gonorrhea and AIDS 24 hours. So you have to be careful who invites you to dinner. Better check the kitchen. See, some people have dirty kitchens. You just don't want to eat out of every kitchen. You have to be careful where you go to eat and who you let fix your food. Satan is never content to go alone. Satan snakes around to capture your mind if possible. And they're always seeking to influence your mind. They're always talking. You can't interpret nothing. They interpret everything to you. Everything I say, they got to explain it to you like you don't have no sense. I'm making Satan's game bad right now. See, at least I'm telling you what they're doing to you. You little Stupid fool. Everything I say, they got to tell you what I mean. You can't hardly listen to me for them telling you what I mean. What are they doing? Trying to influence your mind so that whatever they say, whatever they do, and wherever they go, you go. And they'll follow you around. As long as they can hold on to you. Yeah. They don't want you to get away from their influence. They move around you just to influence your mind. And they have you saying, that's right, yeah, right. And they just be landing on you. You be like, yeah, that's right. After a while, you don't know whether I'm right or they right. You want a friend so bad that you let someone else dominate your mind. So Satan invites you, come on, go with me. I'm going out of my mind over on such and such a street in the dark tonight. I'm going to get a little lung cancer for about 4 hours. You know, smoke is thick in the place. That's what you do in a nightclub. You suck it in everybody else's smoke. But what about this mind game people playing on you? It's a lot of y'all like that. You're influenced by the opinions of others. What you think? And they have a lot of thoughts. Now, as you listen, at this moment, you have to say, you right, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You so right. And those who seek to rule over your mind and influence you through their opinion can't wait to get to you after I finish talking tonight so they can regain your mind. Right now, you're free, see, you know what they're doing, but they're going to get you out the class. They're going to tell you what I mean right now. They're going to point at everybody but them. See, it's several people that feel the heat from what I'm saying. I mean, the devil is tricky. He'd tell you, remember Noah, and turn around and take your mind off of it. And right back on their opinion. Satan came at Eve just like that. Did not Yahweh say? See, the first thing Satan did was come repeating what Yahweh said. So the one that's trying to control your mind, as soon as class over, they're going, didn't Yahweh Ben Yahweh say tonight? And then immediately after saying that, Satan took her mind right on off. And had her saying, that's right. that's right. Eve was just hollering, just agreeing with Lucifer. That's right. Next time I see you, you'll be hollering again. I'm confused. I need to talk to you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Something's wrong. I'm sitting up in here dying. I don't know whether I'm going or coming. I don't know whether to stay or go. I'm confused, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. I need help. Please don't leave me, Yahweh. How can you be confused with all this teaching I'm doing? You must not be listening to me. You must be listening to the one under whose control, the one that has control of your mind. That's the only way you can be confused. You're not listening to me. I'm not confusing. What I teach is straightforward and open and plain, to the point. I'm not coming at corners and angles and deception. Well, how can you be confused? It's only you're listening to somebody else. That's what brought confusion in the garden. But the people in the garden listened to Lucifer. What brought confusion in heaven? A third of the angels listened to Lucifer. That's what brought the wall. You got a wall going on inside? Then you're not listening to me.
Low and red. eyes have seen his works before, and until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise, Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. Wow. You have a choice, people. It goes back to that choice. Yahweh ben Yahweh says so many things in this message. He gave us so many jewels in this message. It's just amazing. You don't know where to start. It's just all about who you listening to. If you confused, you must not be listening to Yahweh ben Yahweh. You got a war going on in your head. You're just not listening to Yahweh ben Yahweh. So if you got those kind of things, the solution is plain. Listen to the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk a lot about our choices and who we listen to when we get in Power Talk. But we do have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Yahweh Virtual University has launched a free online class for all ages. Sign up today and experience the fun for yourself. This is a call for your help and assistance. This free online class was created to bring awareness to all good people how wonderful learning from Yahweh truly is. At this time, Yahweh Virtual University only supports online classes for level 1 and 2 students, ages 2 through 6. However, you can still homeschool your older students through our curriculum outline program. We are a small team and are working endlessly to provide online classes for all levels and all ages. We are in need of lesson plan writers, worksheet creators, video creators, online course creators, teachers, and more. If you are interested in helping Yahweh Virtual University launch more levels faster, please fill out the form in the description below. You can also call 850-813-9494 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also support us through your generous donations. Praise Yahweh forever.
Praise unto Yahweh and Yahweh bin Yahweh. From the nation of Yahweh,
YahwehRadio.com.
So glad I'm with Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
step on into
YahwehRadio.com.
Let nobody
turn me away from Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
Yahweh bin Yahweh is a great God and a great King above
YahwehRadio.com.
It's truly God. Yeah.
Neo Jazz School of Music is an educational institute whose primary purpose is to rescue our children through music and the arts. Music and arts programs are scientifically proven to expand the intellectual capacity of the student in areas such as math and science. In addition, students of music and the arts make for well-rounded, productive members of society, no matter what career path they choose. Neo Jazz School of Music currently provides education and training to community youth in the greater New Orleans area.
Get it up!
Yay! Oh my gosh, we accomplished life!
Yeah.
Praise Yahweh. Wow, this message is one of the deeper things that in your spiritual journey, your spiritual walk, you have to understand, you have to deeply understand this message. This message is about, so you have to have faith in Yahweh, that Yahweh is your protector. Yahweh is your provider, your sustainer. Yahweh gives you water, air, land, good weather. It's Yahweh who calls all these things. We can't negate the fact that all of this prophecies, all of the scriptures talks about Yahweh being our Father and our protector. So you can't listen to Satan. Satan is the opposer of Yahweh. You can't listen to Satan and you can't believe what he say. The most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us about how Satan is the father of lies and he make up lies, and him in his own plight, the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh used to talk about how the media used to cast his name out as evil and say so many bad things about him, and they still doing the same thing. Not too long ago, they did a expose documentary on Lifetime about negative things that they want to attribute to his positivity. But see, the ones of us who have understanding, we see through those lies. But there's a lot of us who believe the lies when it comes to other things that Satan's talk about, like wars, rumors of war. We believe, you get scared. There's a war in Ukraine. Russia's gonna nuke them. They're gonna nuke us, and we getting it. All this propaganda. You listen to those lies, and it puts stress on you, puts fear into you, like he can actually, the devil say, like he can actually accomplish anything. Yahweh says his time is up. And we see him imploding and all of the things that they're doing. I mean, think about believing in Satan and trusting in science and trusting in all the things that he can actually protect you from death. People believe that Satan and his lies and his pharmaceutical companies can protect you from death. So as the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh say, they engineer these viruses in laboratories and then they put them out and then they come out with the cure. And the cure is more deadly than the virus. We see that in retro now. We see that to be true. I mean, you think about it. First of all, they're still beating this drum that everybody got to take it. It's a war against this and it's a war against that. That's wars and rumors of war. And they still want to force you. And then when is Satan really interested in you living? He did abortion. He legalized the murder of babies. When has he been ever interested in saving your life? So you believe him, the people who believe him, they go out and they let him protect them. And then next thing you know, you got people dropping dead left and right. Just dropping dead for no reason. They got a new term for it. Sudden death syndrome. You got athletes in this global arena at their prime, at the top of their game, the most healthy in our societies, dropping dead. And the cause? No reason. No, it's just sudden death syndrome. There's no reason. Don't think it's because we forced them. If you're going to play, you're going to have to take this thing. Okay, so you can believe in that. You can trust in that. or you can trust in the divine protection of Yahweh, who is causing Satan to kill himself. And all those who follow him are killing themselves. They're killing each other too. You know, you have all these reports about police brutality, and all this kind of stuff, killing black folks and killing these young black men. Then now here, the latest one, you got 5 or 6 black cops killing a black man. And they're not hesitating on prosecuting them though, because the scripture don't protect them. The scripture protect the other one, say he killed us and hold himself not guilty. We see that time and time, but here it is, black folks trying to be as wicked and do the same thing, and they prosecute them right off. Any reason, kill niggas and we'll put you in jail for the rest of your life. But when the oppressor kills us, it fulfills scriptures. Hold themselves not guilty because it's their court system, it's their systems. These are the systems that Yahweh is destroying. That's why it'd be such a great day to come and see Yahweh destroying these systems, these wicked systems. There's nothing that these devils can do that stay hidden. All of the information comes out. You just have to be aware. Most people think, oh, conspiracy, you watch around, look. No, you just notice things. And if you notice things, you notice that these things, the most honorable Yahweh taught us way back when. I mean, you can go back to lesson number 1 and see that Yahweh taught us that these things would happen. These things would be the norm. And Yahweh is your only salvation, your only protection. You can't trust in nothing else and be protected of Yahweh.
Well, I think the most honorable Yahweh being Yahweh for giving us this message so that we can consider with our minds what he is sharing with us. And really, this is about your mind. You know, who has control over your mind. All of these things that you just described, Brother Lute, is about, you know, us having clarity in understanding of who has influence over the mind of the masses.
Right.
And so our duty, our work as children of Yahweh is, one, to take control of our minds and be influenced by the mind of Yahweh first and foremost.
Kick Satan out.
Kick Satan out your mind.
Yahweh can live in your mind.
Then Yahweh can live. And so then you can begin to see and exercise the power of discernment around and concerning these issues. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to read a report. To gain understanding of the things that happen. And then, of course, you've got to consider the author of these reports. And
well, you got to do your research. It ain't just a report and you believe it.
But the point is, Yahweh, when you get into the mind, if you're under the influence of Yahweh, you can begin to make logical decisions and understanding how to navigate these challenges that are put before us. Like Yahweh gave Noah the notion to build an ark. He gave him, let me just correct that, instructions.
He gave him the instructions, specific.
Very specific instructions. So let's start with that. In order to be properly influenced, you must direct yourself to the instructions for how you need to be operating. Yahweh has given us these instructions in our law, statutes, judgments, and commandments. They give us multiple divine formulas. You get many scenarios for your consideration of how not to make the same mistakes, or how to make the right choices, and how to walk correct walk.
Well, just think about what Yahweh gave us. Like you say, he gave us these law, statute, judgments, and commandments, and then he came himself in the flesh and explained it to us and resurrected it, unlocked the mysteries, and told you how to get at the truth. He taught you a 10-step method of how to get at the truth. We use it all the time. We're using it now. So, definitions right now in etymological studies right now that we can do to get at the truth.
And under the proper influence, Yahweh, you become a well-educated being to properly occupy this place we call earth.
He said, turns us into scholars.
The trouble is we have a multitude of people who are under the wrong influence.
Absolutely.
And so just looking at an immediate definition of this word influence. Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself.
Wow. Let's break that down a little bit. Read it again slowly.
Influence, the capacity to have an effect on.
Okay, first of all, is somebody have the capacity.
They have power.
So the capacity, that means you got the space, you got the volume, you got the power, you got the energy, you have the capacity to, what was the next part of it?
To have an effect on the character, development, or behavior.
Now, for all these years, Satan had the capacity to influence us in that manner. But then Yahweh came in the flesh and took us away from that influence and began to influence us in all of these ways that the definition is speaking of.
Influence, the capacity to have an effect on the character.
It has an effect on our character,
development,
or
behavior.
And our behavior. Look at us after slavery. Look how degraded and downtrodden and how worldly we are. There's not many of us that are spiritual people among our people that are spiritual anymore. We're just worldly.
And this is where it gets deep. It says to affect the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, but the little back side of this, or the effect itself.
The effect itself.
The capacity to have an effect on you. Let's start there.
Right. And so when you think about it, for 6,000 years, Satan has an effect on the earth. And to get it to now it's a godless society, especially in America, but in all of the Western so-called countries, God is not relevant in day-to-day life. And especially the God of the Bible or the God of the Old Testament or anything of that nature is not. Satan teaches that. He has an influence over life to where what that got to do with me? I'm working at McDonald's. I'm working 3 jobs. I got 5 children and no money and all of this kind of stuff. And you think about what God have to do with that. How can God, believing in God, help me with this? Well, you know that, of course, that's the whole purpose. That's why you're in those conditions, because you leave God out of the equation and you don't seek to find out who is your God. But we know now it's out. There's no secret no more. The world knows that our God is Yahweh and who we are. And it's up to us to have faith and let Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, influence us.
Praise Yahweh. And when you were describing that scenario of what does God have to do with these things, and then we look at the conditions all around us, we can definitely see that the effect of the improper influence is literally all around us.
All around.
When they talk about a godless society, they're talking about people who lack the fear of the God, of our God, Yahweh, lack the fear of God, Yahweh. And so what it is we have to really exercise that, process in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10. The name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. We see all these unsafe conditions around us. And people can be stressed. They can be emotionally distraught. They can be confused. They can be, disconfigured. And we have to return to Yahweh in our behavior. in our character, in our development. If we lack Yahweh in all those things, and as Yahweh being Yahweh has come to give us the more behavior attributes, which is a process of shaping our character to become more godly. That's what's missing. So if we say, we keep talking about, people keep talking about a godless society, some of us are going to wake up into understanding that Yahweh being Yahweh has been telling us that we have to be properly influenced. That influence means Yahweh is shaping our character. Yahweh is shaping our development. Yahweh is shaping our behavior.
And influence our actions.
Yahweh is the effect. Period.
Period.
And when we become that, then our society changes. Someone has to be activated in this process of changing this idea of this godless society.
Absolutely.
Yahweh being Yahweh has come and tapped us with the power. He came and gave us the capacity.
Well, he said he transferred his divine energy to us
Yahweh
to complete his works. And that's exactly what we're here to do. And those of us who perceive Yahweh in his divine mind, it has to be action. Faith without works is dead. And so if your actions is not pooling your dollars, your $2 and $3, your $5 and $10, if you're not putting that into building the kingdom of Yahweh, well, Yahweh knows what you're doing. I mean, that's just how it goes. If you want to be those wicked that hide among us, see, people run into the building thinking that's Yahweh, I'm going to be protected if I run amongst the Yahwehs and stuff like that. But the scripture didn't say that the building of Yahweh is a strong tower. It said the name of Yahweh is a strong tower. So now when you run into the name, Yahweh being Yahweh gave us teachings on the ineffable name and how people couldn't understand it, and so they hid it and they didn't want us to worship it. But Yahweh being Yahweh came and made it efferable, especially to those of us who perceive him. And we understand that it's not a building that you run into. That he don't have a tower on the planet that we all got to go and run into it to be safe. That's Satan's mindset. He's still on that carnal level. He's still on that physical level. Like, I got to be at a certain place. You have to be at a certain mental place of protection. Consider what Job was mentally and spiritually, to where he had a hedge around. Yahweh put a hedge around him. Consider Noah. Yahweh gave him specifications to build a craft that will survive his destruction. Now, see, that's allegorical. That was physical, but it's also allegorical.
Yes, it is.
Because now Yahweh ben Yahweh is giving us the specific specifications to build a craft that will protect us from this fire. What did he say? The guards who threw us in the fire got burned by the fire, but we didn't.
Brother Lou, and you really are touching on something here, because it is about deploying that divine formula, pay your 10 and 10. Keep the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh. Build that into your daily practice. Study. There shall not be a day that you go without study. You have to study. You have to study every day. And so putting these practices helps build in other righteous behavior, right? You start with the things that you can tangibly do.
No matter where you are, no matter your job, no matter your income, nothing, it doesn't matter. You can study every day.
You can study every day. You can be very conscientious about, one, making sure when you make money, you setting that money aside in the proper order so that you can be blessed according to, Yahweh's commandments.
Right.
He gave us a divine formula. And so that said, build locally. If you are nearby one of the local cities that are helping to build the name Yahweh, build the reputation, the fame, and the glory of Yahweh, connect with those like-minded individuals, connect to that city, connect with that local operation so that we can build collectively. And here in New Orleans, we are deploying our local operation. We've just made some upgrades to the Life Center, and we're looking forward to hosting some on-site classes in the near future. So
and not only that, we definitely developing a lot of online classes and online teachings of the Most Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You know, Yisrael Studios is always active in publishing the name of Yahweh with producing this show, The Unfolding Light. And so, you know, it's a requirement. It's our duty as the children of Yahweh to publish his name and to promote morality and righteousness, promote his way, and to walk in all his ways. And we promote it by being it. We promote it by being visibly set aside for Yahweh, visibly holy. Yahweh Ben Yahweh showed us how just putting on a certain color sets you apart. And I used to tell the young brothers, if you were walking around dressed in culture, I don't think the police would come and grab you and think you just committed a crime dressed in white. You know, and you're clean, and they don't think you didn't just rob somebody or went through somebody's window or just, you know, because you're clean, you're white, you're holy, just in the appearance. So those are just little things that we're talking about that permeates through the whole lifestyle. You know, that's why Yahweh teaches about keeping the feast. That's why Yahweh teaches about keeping all the laws and the high holy days and doing the will of Yahweh.
And that said, you have brought notice to the fact that it is our time for keeping the feast. So that's another action that you can do, family, is visit Feast of Yahweh. That's FEASTOFYHWH.com to find out about our upcoming Passover, Yahweh's Passover, and Feast of Unleavened Bread 6026. We are always and continuously globally calling out to the children of Yahweh to gather together so that we can build collectively. So go right ahead and visit the Feast of Yahweh, FEASTOFYHWH.com, feastofyahweh.com. And not last but not least, but always on the forefront, we want to encourage our family to visit the nation of YHWH.com.
Right, because I was about to mention about building of the Nation Building Institute when you was mentioning about if you're in the city near people, but if you're in the city by yourself, you're totally isolated by yourself, there are all kinds of resources and tools that can aid you into recruiting others or spreading the word and coming together and organizing just a simple Bible studies class with that 10-step study method that you can get you and anybody you invite can get at the truth. If they want to know the truth, you can help them and yourself, and of course our whole nation, get at the truth by doing these things.
Yes, sir. And just again, visit the website, thenationofYHWH.com. If you are wherever you are on the planet, click that tithes button, and it'll take you to a secure donation page. And from there, you can choose to apply your donation to the Nation Building Institute, the Nation Building Funds. Of course, make your tithes and offerings unto Yahweh. But of course, we want to continue to encourage you to support these funds, these important funds. We will be making an update to this link where you can specify donations to the Built Grant Program, because that is yet another institution that Yahweh has blessed us with that is blessing our economy.
Absolutely.
Yahweh gave us the notion to have much business in the cities of Judah. And so in that, we have to invest in our own local economy, what that means the nation of Yahweh, and create that wealth that is needed to build our freedom.
See, you know, that goes back to the message today and how Satan have deceived us in particular, the children of Yahweh, to not even care to have our own economy. We just want to participate in his economy. You know, we just want to have something and have no plan how to get it. We think through a job is the only way we get it. And see, that's the deception of Satan through the slave process, that we can only have prosperity through working for him.
Yes, sir.
And that's a lie, because most of us who work for him right now know that there's no prosperity in jobs, let alone a job. But you got to have 2 and 3 sometimes. And especially if you hadn't went through his higher education and his master's degree that happened to get you a decent, so-called decent corporate job, because you deeper in slavery, because that money you make is holding you in bondage to where you can't leave that job. You can't lose that job to save your life. You depend on that job for your very life. And there you go. That's dependent on Satan, not Yahweh.
Well, we have to be invested in and changing ourselves collectively, and being under the proper influence helps us to stimulate our local economy. You know, Yahweh being Yahweh gave a formula, you know, pay Yahweh and yourself first and don't touch it.
And let's clarify local economy, because that means it sounds like you're talking about around here.
No, I'm talking
local,
about the
nation of Yahweh is a nation. It's a nation. And we know the prophecy, and we know what happened to it, and we know what the end result will be. So the nation of Yahweh is never, ever going anywhere. It will consume the planet according to prophecy.
That's right.
All nations gonna come to the nation of Yahweh to learn of Yahweh. That's prophecy. This will happen. We have to get our house in order. Our local nation of Yahweh economy in the forefront of our minds, invested in keeping that money flowing through the businesses, through the fundraisers, through the high holy days, through investing in the helping publish the name, and so many more things. You know, we have 5 power structures.
And we cannot forget the efforts of Yahweh Virtual University is such a phenomenal institution. Yahweh Virtual University is giving that much needed alternative and support to families.
Well, it's the parable of the mustard seed.
That's right.
It's the parable of the mustard seed.
Families that are looking for help. So many families have been asking for curriculum support. Well, this platform is the answer to your question. So I encourage you to visit YahwehVirtualUniversity.com, where you can figure out this is what we need to be investing in. All these things that we're naming, and we can go on and naming like the businesses and the institutions that are lifting up the name, that are properly influenced by the divine mind of the most honorable Yahweh and are working towards heavenly goals. And so we have to connect to those businesses. We have to connect to our family, connect to the people who are lifting up Yahweh. And we are at that time in our conversation.
And we just want to make sure that we all know and all remember that the theme of this message is, you know we have a choice, but it's all about having that faith in Yahweh, that Yahweh will protect us and see us through. Yahweh talked about how this fire that he's using to destroy Satan, he's also using the same fire to protect us. See, we're not out there being beat in the street and killed in the street. Our people is, the ones walking in darkness, come to the light.
Yes,
Let's show them to the light. Let's be that beacon of hope and the light that Yahweh ben Yahweh shined on us. It's our time to shine that light on the world. And more importantly, our family that's walking in darkness.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Charity begins at home.
So family, if you are out there and the words and the wisdom shared by the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh has inspired you today, the message today, Please, we want to encourage you to share in this platform with us for those who are joining us on Zoom. All you have to do is click the mic on your Zoom app to unmute yourself. We have, I think, set it up where you can now unmute, or you can *6 to unmute yourself if you're dialed in, or simply raise your hand. And I do believe we have a caller who is trying to get unmuted. Let's see if this helps. All right, caller, we are trying to get you to unmute. Yeah, I see your green check. I don't know if that means you're trying to get on the line, but we're going to try one more time. All right, family. Well, if you want to join, all you have to do is hit the mic and unmute yourself, or *6 to join in the conversation.
Well, the conversation continues. And the reality of it is our Father Yahweh is powerful enough. He has the capacity to protect us, to influence us, to be great, to be gods, according to scriptures. That's his influence on us. I have said, ye are God, and all of you are children of the Most High. Well, we're children of the Most High, and we can do as our Father do. But the reality of where we are is we got to get rid of that Satan's influence.
And really, the reality is what we said in Proverbs, what was that, 19:10, where Yahweh's name is a strong tower. And when you look at the word name in the Hebrew, you look at the root word Shem, and you go to the Strong's definition, which is code number 864. I'm sorry, 8034. My apologies, family. Shem is a primitive word, which through the idea is the definite and conspicuous position. Definite and conspicuous position. Now, all this time, we've been running around here, not really sure our place on the planet, right? Our people have been on the bottom of all nations in economy, wealth, education. But this is our ticket to our betterment as a people. Yahweh ben Yahweh has given us a formula to improve the conditions through a definite and conspicuous position. So conspicuous means that you're not in the background, you're not under, you're not below everybody. You're up front. You're very visibly in a position. Praise Yahweh. I do believe
we do have a caller.
We do have several callers. Look like that. Praise Yahweh. Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh. This is Sister Yochebed Sarah Yisrael, and I'm traveling, so I apologize for any background noise. But it is very true. When we run unto the name Yahweh, we will be powerful. We are powerful, and we become strong towers. Now, what is the basic definition of the name Yahweh? It means to be self-existent, sovereign. Our enemy, if you notice, they're doing everything in their power right now for you not to be sovereign. Everything's are being taken away that creates sovereignty. Okay, land, ownership of Agenda 21. They don't want you to have any property. They don't want people to have land. This is all an agenda that we see taking place. So, what does that tell you? When Yahweh told us, he said, if your enemy says go left, you go right. We should be doing everything in our power right now to become sovereign, to become self-sufficient, to become independent of the ways of the world, of the needs from the world, our enemy, in every way possible. This is how you defeat their agenda, okay? Imagine we are the children of Yahweh, and every day we have to go to the enemy for X, Y, Z. Think about that. Yahweh said we are not adults until we stop being fed by our enemy. We're still children until we as a people, and I'm talking every single Hebrew Israelite in the nation of Yahweh and beyond the nation of Yahweh, until the Black people, period, start to just do the basic of feeding themselves, growing your own food. I don't care if you have an apartment, get a bucket, put some dirt in it, grow something, save some seeds, get a little plot of land, use your backyard, use your front little patches, grow something, because this enemy is doing everything they can to destroy your independence and self-sufficiency. So yes, Yahweh's name is to be. You just have to be. Okay, become sovereign, self-sufficient, independent. Praise Yahweh. Thank you for this wonderful class tomorrow, Dr. Lee. Shalom, shalom.
Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I'd like to thank Yahweh for your comments, and you're right on point, sister. We are children. That's why we call children. You never heard us call adults of Yahweh. We have to be able to be sovereign. Sovereignty means being able to feed yourself. That's a fundamental thing. Is just feed yourself. You got people walk around homeless and they sovereign. They don't own nothing and they scavenge grass and roots and eat, and they make it. They at least they have a degree of sovereignty in their spirit and their lifestyle they like. We don't have to do that. We don't have to scourge around. We can own organic farms collectively. We have co-op programs that are developing different things that in the near future we'll be coming together on a whole lot of infrastructure of a nation.
And to be honest, family, it does take time, but we do have a caller with a line unmuted. Caller with your line unmuted. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. I don't know if that's me, Open, or someone else.
Yes, it is.
It is you. Welcome, brother.
Yes, sir. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. Just wanted to chime in a little bit because part of the message when Yahweh Ben Yahweh was talking about listening to his message and listening to him. And it's very important to really understand, because right now you have a lot of information or disinformation coming from the left, coming from the right. And if you're not careful, you can get swayed to the left, you can get swayed to the right. But he say, listen to his message. And his message teaches you to study, which when you do an application, that 10-step study method, sometimes you'll find your studies and the truth might be contradictory to the things that you thought that you taught or thought that you believe. But study means to the application of that. And he also mentioned, I heard you all mentioning about the power, to run into the name of the Lord Yahweh being a strong tower. And that is so important to get an understanding of what that means, because I heard someone mentioning name, and I'm not finna do no whole study on my name, but part of that is in my name. But when you study the name Yahweh, you find it's more than uttering his name, but it's about becoming his name and living the name. And I'm hearing about sovereignty. See, Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught that the whole earth belonged to Yahweh and the fullness thereof. But if you listen to the left and to the right, they'll tell you to pray. Okay, and prayer is a wonderful thing. But prayer has its perspective. But you can't pray your way into heaven. You can't pray your way into getting to the earth. What Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught through his direct example is everything is for sale. And even though he owned the entire earth, he began buying it back one piece at a time. He was the son of Yahweh, but he bought his own planet back one piece at a time. So when you hear people in the nation of Yahweh not talking about building, understand it's about us buying back that which belongs to us. Because you can call on his name, but Satan is not going to lay down and give you the planet. He's not going to do that. They got tanks, they got weapons, they got jets. They're not going to give you anything. but we can buy whatever we choose to and become sovereign. Like if they would have shut their system down, how will we eat? That's a serious question. If the system shut down tomorrow and they stop printing checks and printing paper for a month, can we survive as an individual? Can we survive as a people? We need Yahweh. See, but we can't just pray to Yahweh. We have to live the example of Yahweh and truly become independent as a people, become sovereign, and know that means becoming yourself, connecting. See, the name Yahweh, you have to make Yahweh the God. Yahweh has to become a part of you. I'm gonna stop because I don't want to start creating a book online. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. We right with you, my brother.
That's right.
I thank Yahweh for your comments because you're right on point. It's food sovereignty, land sovereignty is the word. Land sovereignty, we can grow food, all food we want. And all these apocalyptic endings to the world that everybody is talking about, that ain't to our world.
No, sir.
That may be to their world because they go to the grocery store and they say in the first 8 hours of a crisis, the grocery stores will be cleaned out. And these people that do these online survival courses and stuff, they say you'd be better to learn where the packing plant and the boxing plant, like, the warehouses and stuff, the shipping, you better learn them because those where you're going to have to run to get some food after the first 8 hours. Now, most of the population have no clue where the warehouses, where their food come from.
Literally, most people, the majority of the population is ignorant to where their food comes from. That is a harsh and horrifying reality. Because it also speaks to the health and mental conditioning
of the people.
That our people we're under the influence of the enemy of Yahweh. We barely know where our drinking water comes from, family. Let's talk about that.
We don't.
So when we talk about being a society that's built off the law, statute, judgments, and commandments of our God, Yahweh, that means Yahweh is in control of our food, our water, and our shelter. And we know it comes from Yahweh. But right now, someone they interceding to get between you and your connection to all these resources that are rightfully yours when you are in the strong tower of Yahweh.
It's our inheritance.
It's our inheritance.
Yahweh came and he owns the earth, and we're co-heirs with Yahweh ben Yahweh to inherit the earth. So how more plain can it be said? And if we go back, like the sister was saying, like the brother was saying, if we go back and begin to purchase land, buy the land, they can't stop us from buying land. They can't stop us from, growing organically. They can't stop us. Yahweh is our protection. Now, I know places where they try to give land away, $100 down and $99 a month, you can own land. It's places where nobody wants to live, especially those people who are soft and love the city. Well, we all like the city. We all like amenities, but we can build those amenities anywhere we go. And that's where our minds have to transition.
It's been
not
proven.
Depend on renting and getting somebody else's and building our own place.
Well, it's been proven time and time again that, of course, we go post-Civil War just as an immediate reference of how
that was right after slavery.
That was right after slavery, how many communities of color began popping up in the South. And we just don't know about these places because they're either buried under lakes.
Right.
They were scraped, as they call in the architectural firm, where they come in and scrape the land. And
we don't even want to talk about this, the one called Black Wall Street. Everybody knows what happened to that. They bombed it.
Burned it to a ground. So, but the reality is we have the capacity to build heavenly euphoric spaces that met needs, that meet needs. The problem there, we wasn't connected to our God Yahweh in those situations. And so now, family, we have a unique position. We have a unique opportunity in history in Yahweh's story to build intentional communities, to build collective wealth, to actually deploy our power as a people through our motto. Yahweh gave us our motto as a formula for building what we need to meet our needs.
That's the formula.
And the left and the
Build
right,
what we need.
the left and the right are building these mental conditions that's got us focused of that somebody has taken our inheritance. We have to return to our Father so that we can claim our inheritance.
That's
period.
right.
That's the
right.
work.
The wicked will not be able to stand and hold our inheritance from us. Period. They barely standing now, but that's okay. We have to get strictly focused on our mission. And that means we can't worry about supporting the war in Ukraine. We can't worry about how many likes you got on social media. We can't worry about who won the basketball game the other night. And we can't worry about these things, these trivial things, when we should be worried about how we going to feed ourselves in the food shortage, which is already getting shorter and shorter, incrementally, not all at once, because there'll be a panic. When they do it all at once, there will be a panic. But they've been steadily over the last 2 years, like Sister mentioned, the Agenda 21. And I read the Agenda 21 10 years before that.
Yes, sir.
We read the Agenda 21 and we're like, wow, they trying to do this in the year 21. And they doing it all. So it's not like we're not aware that they plan to do this and what they're planning to do. But the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught us from the beginning that the money is going to fail. The scriptures say that you can't buy nor sell. The scriptures say, I mean, everything that's going on, he taught us in the flesh, and it backed up with the scriptures. So now how much more do you need to learn? Like you said, if you're confused, you must not be listening. You must not want to listen and hear his message. Well, the message is sovereignty. Yahweh is sovereign, our sovereign God. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is the most sovereign son, the only begotten sovereign son, and then he begat sons, and it's up to us to be sovereign like our Father, like Yahweh. And so the method of being sovereign is what? Acquisition of land, pooling resources, land, sovereign land trust, and then food sovereignty, where we grow our own food. We can distribute our food all over the planet. We can start with the city, the state, this country, but eventually there's other international food providers. We can buy steamships just like they can. Marcus Garvey did it back in the turn of the century. Bought steamships.
Well, much like
All
Noah,
the people pooling resources.
and much like Noah, he built one. So
Noah built one.
Power of the name gives you the capacity to see yourself
So
to
don't
freedom.
play yourself cheap.
But there's a critical element here that we cannot overlook in this process, because Noah was righteous.
Don't overlook that.
We cannot overlook the process.
Noah knew how to vote.
Noah knew how to vote. Noah was industrious, but Noah was righteous. And most importantly, and so the work becomes that healing, which is returning ourselves. Again,
Heal yourself.
The influence. We've got to go back to that word influence, because that word influence, we talk about our behavior, our character, our development has been under the influence of someone else. So with that, we have to exercise humility in our own selves to recognize we've inherited the behavior, character, and development of the enemy of Yahweh, And so we now have work to do to heal from that.
Not only is he the enemy of Yahweh, he's our enemy too.
That's right.
And we want to be just like him.
And that's right.
We've been influenced by him so long that it's hard to get from under his influence to kill those old paradigms of our enemy, of Satan, the opposer, the enemy of Yahweh, the enemy of God, to get rid of his old paradigms and begin the process of being influenced by the one who Yahweh sent. for us to be influenced by.
And when you're able to remove that negative influence from your mind, like Brother Lou was speaking of earlier, how we have these battles, these war of Armageddon in our own mind, makes it challenging for us to go to the farmer's market instead of Whole Foods. You know, I spent $40 at the farmer's market and got so much produce. It was amazing. I was astonished. But anyway, I mean, making practical, good decisions where you save so much money, you're eating so much healthier, you're actually doing the things to purify yourself, your body, so you can really process the words of Yahweh with the right behavior and move in the right behavior. So it's all connected. One doesn't stop by the other. You have to do all of it. You have to do all of it.
And it's the duty of man. What's the whole duty of man? Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments. It's your whole duty. His commandments are complete. His law, statutes, judgments, and commandments are complete. They teach us how to be sovereign, how to have land sovereignty, how to have food sovereignty, how to have everything that we need, because we create, we invent it, and we produce it. It's not a elusive thing to understand. It's not something that is so far over our heads that I just can't. How do you just buy land? I can't just buy land. You know, yeah, you can. You buy a donut, you can buy land. Same process. You know, you go to where it's being sold, you ask the person, and you pay them the money, and sign a few papers. And no. But the point is, this is not rocket science. Pooling resources is not rocket science. It's coming together and cooperating. You know, our co-op developer over here can attest to how hard it is for people, all people, to just come together and agree on how they want to operate something that they're creating. But after that process is done, then you have an agreement that causes everything to be in order.
Indeed. And the most critical part of what makes these cooperatives work is the values that people are coming together on. And so Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught us that he gave us our motto: one God, one mind, one love, and one action. And when those elements are at the core and at the forefront of what you create cooperatively, then you build the things that are all in common for you as in your cooperative practice together, whether it's policies and procedures, how you vote matters, how you participate matters. These things aren't just developed out of you saying, I'm going to develop a co-op. There's work in creating any business that you set forth to create. So imagine creating a business with multiple owners. You have to be able to be righteous in your delivery of that business. It has to be divvied up righteously.
Ethical in all your dealings.
Ethical. Morality is at the core of how you have to treat each other in those practices. So that's why that program development takes time, because the process of building those intentional practices take time. We have learned from the enemy of Yahweh every element of how we operate, from business operations to educational operations, to spiritual operations, to governing operations, all aspects, and to economic, all of it. We have to really take the time out to invest in changing our ways. And that comes with exercise in 2 Timothy 2:15. Studying to show ourselves approved, workmen unto Yahweh, that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. If we don't do that, even as a cooperative business, it will fail. It will fail. So that's it. Praise
Yahweh. Well, we're coming to the end of our episode. We're not quite there yet, but we are definitely coming close to the end of our episode. And I just wanted to tell the family that, these messages that Yahweh Ben Yahweh is giving us is the leaves for the healing of the nation. Now it's time, we have the spiritual, but the spiritual always have to manifest in the physical of your life. So now it is time for us to support the building of the Nation Building Institute, because from that institute, people will be gathering together to learn. And not only that, pool resources to create businesses like organic farm cooperative businesses that can feed ourselves, our family, our nation as a whole, and not only that, even the world.
Yes, sir.
Even the world. So as we talk about this food, and ironically, me being on a fast, family, I do want to invite you to take this journey with me. I'm on a 40-day fast. It's actually the 8th day of a 40-day fast. So I got 32 days more to go. Join me on my Instagram is over 55 workout. And I work out every day and I drink lemon water. And, I want to be an inspiration to everybody that understand that your health is up to you. It's not up to anybody else. Now, I know we have to have, different consultants and all of that stuff, but your general health is up to you because it's based on what you eat and what you put in your body and on your body. And there's health seminars. Our dear Sister Sabia, gives health seminars every week, and she deals with all of the foods and all of the different things that is detrimental. And then the other side, the other choice is all the things that are healthy and positive. So it's just about being that example, that influence, that having the capacity to influence us righteously. That's what Yahweh Ben Yahweh did. And he passed that mission on to us to be a living example of righteousness. Well, fasting and praying for the healing of our nation, praying for the healing of all Yahweh's children, and for us to come together and do these land sovereignties and these food sovereignty things that we talk about, that we've been taught by our Father. Let's grow up to be adults. We've been the children of Yahweh for long enough. Now it's time for us to grow up and take responsibility for ourselves, feeding ourselves, even employing ourselves. And I know brother Samuel, he's an employer. He employs people. He has people working. He keeps people working. That's a noble thing. People are always looking for work because that's the cycle. The elders have to provide, have to achieve something that the young people can come and learn and apprentice and inherit one day. That's what it's all about, the good cycle. We've been we get a job and we die. And so what do we pass on to our children? They can't inherit a job, and sometimes they can. And they work in the same place their parents worked for all their life. But I'm rambling now. So understand that we have the responsibility. At the beginning of Yahweh Ben Yahweh's message, he said he's looking for those who want his message. He ain't looking for those who want to debate and not take hold to it. And we are at the end. Sister, any final thoughts?
I do. I have to share this because it really means this. It means so much. And when I looked up the etymological root of the word influence, or the etymological meaning of the word influence, from an astrological sense, it means streaming ethereal power from the stars when in certain positions. So
wow, why you open up that at the end?
It's time for us to stream the ethereal powers of the Most High Yahweh. Because we have to stand up and be in our upright position to receive that power from Yahweh and stream it throughout this planet, so that saying of this is a godless society, we will build the godless society. We will build the Yahweh society, and we are the society of Yahweh.
That's right.
Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. And I thank all of Yahweh's children who joined us today on this episode of Unfolding Light. And I invite you all to stand and face the east. With outstretched hands as we close out this episode of The Unfolding Light with a prayer to Heavenly Father Yahweh, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Aleinu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Kabo Makuteaka,
Yadze Rizonka, King Bashamayim, King Ba'aris, and Lechem Kukenu, Tain La Nu Hayon, Uslak Lanu, All Kartienu, Himo Shasokim, Ramanatnu, Lakotian Lanu, Real Tevienu, Lade Nisayel, King Kal Senu, Minhara, Kilika, Hamamlaha, Veha Gibera, Veha Tepier, Leolame, Olamin Sila.
We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And always remember, Yahweh loves you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh loves you, and so does the nation of Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Thank you for joining The Unfolding Light, presented by the Nation of Yahweh. If you have any comments or questions, please email us at info@thenationofyhwh.com. Follow us online at thenationofyahweh.com, theunfoldinglight.com, and at yahwehbenyahweh.biz. Get social with us. Follow the Nation of Yahweh on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do remember to pay Yahweh and yourselves first and don't touch it, as instructed by the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You can send your tithes, donations, and offerings to the Nation of Yahweh at P.O. Box 555-115, Orlando, Florida 32855. And be blessed continually, according to Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Praise Yahweh. Shalom, shalom.
Stop your crying. Stop your crying. It's gonna be alright. Stop your lying, children. It's gonna be alright. Don't wanna be. Stop worrying. That's this wording going on. It's gonna be alright, man. Cause you see, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here now. Well, he's a man with a wonderful, wonderful life. You'll be praying all night long. Well, cause you see, you don't know if you're gonna get up in the morning now and lose your home. Well, cause you see, I got all these children going on, and I don't want them to starve. And that's why you got to go and bow down to somebody who ain't God. A man on your job. Well, yeah. The mighty God is here now. The Son. I'm talking about the Son, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. So you can quit all this foolishness and going on, but we living in a brand new day. Well, stop your moaning. It's gonna be alright. Stop your groaning, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop your crying. You don't have to have no more kids. Cause you see, Yahweh, when Yahweh came, round about long this time, it's short now years. Well, stop your begging. It's time to do your part. And quit being lazy, my children. That it's time to stop. Stop doing what you want to do. Start doing the things you're supposed to do. Get up off of your knees and be so good. Because he said, you know you could, well, be the way he wants you to be. Because he said, he know you can. He want all the sisters to join together and be woman, and all the brothers to be man. And I know that everything is gonna be alright. Well, early in the morning, it's gonna be alright. I wanna tell you that sometimes